I discovered a Canva AI side hustle that's actually super easy and making sellers hundreds and even thousands of dollars per month. As I've been looking into this side hustle, I've honestly been a bit shocked at how simple this strategy is and how much profit it can bring in. So here's what it is. First, these sellers are using a free AI chat tool like ChatGPT to generate content for kids' activity books. Then they're using Canva to create pages for these books with activities like crossword puzzles, word searches, and mazes. After the book is designed, they list it for sale on Amazon using Amazon KDP, which is their free program for self-publishing. And then they get paid cash royalties for each book sale that comes in. So if you're interested to learn how you can do this for yourself and earn passive income, then keep on watching because I'm about to break down the entire process step by step. So I'm always looking for fun things for my kids to do, and I noticed this activity book on Amazon. It's an activity book for kids meant to take on airplanes for traveling, full of lots of different fun things, like I mentioned before, crossword puzzles, word searches, mazes, and all kinds of fun games. My interest was piqued, so I looked up this seller on BookBolt, which is a research tool specifically meant to give you data on low content books that are sold on Amazon. I typed in the name of the seller into the seller search to see what other books this specific seller has for sale on Amazon. Sure enough, they have all kinds of different kids' activity books in different variations with specific topics and niches. I saw that this specific one is priced at $7.99 and makes an estimated 506 sales per month. That's an estimated revenue of over $4,000 a month just on this one book. The next one down was priced at $6.99 and makes an estimated 455 sales per month. I kept working my way down the list of their different books, calculating based on the price and the estimated number of sales per month, how much each of these activity books was bringing in revenue. But at the end of the day, gross revenue really isn't what counts. We want to know about profit, right? We want to know how much money are these sellers actually pocketing after their expenses. A lot of these types of books, like I mentioned before, are using Amazon's KDP program. That stands for Kindle Direct Publishing. It's their free program that anyone can use to become a seller and self-publish these types of books. The way you get paid with this program is through royalties. So every time a book sells, you get a certain percentage in royalties, usually either 50 or 60%, depending on how large your book is. The way KDP calculates royalties is that you take the royalty rate, either 50 or 60%, you multiply that by the list price that you have set as the seller, and then you subtract whatever printing costs that KDP is charging you, leaving you with the amount that you're profiting as your royalty. KDP actually has a royalty calculator where you can go on and input the information about your book, choosing if you want it in black and white or color, and inputting your other specs like the size of your pages, how many pages there are, and your list price, and it will automatically do the calculations and give you what your estimated royalty per book sale would be. I made use of this KDP calculator and went ahead for the first 5 listings for this seller and input all of that information individually, book by book, to estimate what this seller is actually making in royalties after they've paid for printing. The total estimated net profit this seller is making after expenses still totals over $2,000 a month just for these first 6 books that are listed here. Not to mention the profit they're bringing in from all of the others that they have for sale. So the next thing I did was come to BookBolt's products tab, and I used the word kids as the keyword and chose activity books as the category. I quickly noticed how many of these types of books are doing super well and making hundreds of sales on Amazon per month. There's no doubt that this niche is absolutely validated as being highly in demand. Then I went back over to Amazon and did a search for kids activity books and noticed that some of these books include only one specific type of activity, like all crossword puzzles or all mazes, but some, like this one that I mentioned, have a collection of a lot of different types of activities included in one book. So with KDP, you can sell either digital ebooks or print books as a paperback or with a hardcover. Your job is to create the interior and exterior of the book, upload it to KDP, create your listing for Amazon. Then when orders come in, they're the ones that print, fill, and ship your order for you to your customer so that you never even have to touch the inventory, but you get paid those cash royalties every time you make a sale. So you're never paying anything up front. You're just paying for that printing cost when those sales come in. So let's go ahead and talk through step by step how you would get started selling these types of books. Step number 1 is to decide on your sub niche. Think of a sub niche as a niche within a niche. So we're getting more specific from just a broad product category and niching down to something really specific and targeted. For instance, you could could sell a book that's titled Crossword Puzzles for Ages 8 through 12. Or you could do something like animal word searches for kids or space word searches for kids. But narrowing down on a specific topic or a specific age group is really going to help you break through and start ranking faster once you get your listing up. For today's example, I'm just going to recreate something similar to what I saw doing really well on Amazon, which were those airplane activity books that include several different types of games and activities. Now we're about to move on to step number 2, but if you're finding value in this video, would you go ahead and click that thumbs up button to give us a like? And while you're at it, go ahead and subscribe to the channel so you don't ever miss one of our weekly videos. That engagement really helps our channel and helps us to continue doing what we do and bringing you free content. All right, step number 2 here, once we've decided on our sub niche, is to generate content on ChatGPT. ChatGPT is a free software that anyone can use and go on to brainstorm, come up with ideas, and even ask it to help generate content for products like this. So for instance, if I was creating a zoo-themed word search, I could go on ChatGPT and give it the prompt, generate 20 names of animals that would be found at the zoo. Or for a food-themed crossword puzzle, I could say, generate 20 names of fruits and vegetables. Of course, you can always think of this content yourself, and that's totally fine, but if you need a little help, ChatGPT is just a great tool to be able to speed up the process and help you think of things maybe you wouldn't have thought of before. So once you've got an idea of the main content you want to include in your book, it's time to move on to step number 3, which is to create these activity pages in Canva. Canva is a totally free graphic design platform that's good for designing so many different types of things. I'm a big fan of using as many free tools as possible to keep our costs as sellers low. So if you haven't tried out Canva yet, you can hop over there with my link in the description box below and start for free. And you can also use that link to get a free 30-day pro trial. So that's 30 days free on their upgraded pro plan, which gives you access to premium features and templates. Now, if you're interested in becoming a digital product seller, whether it be as a side hustle or even to bring in a full-time income, but maybe you don't know where to start or you just haven't been able to get the momentum that you want yet, I've got a resource that's going to be so helpful for you. It's my free 45-minute long masterclass, Digital Product Powerhouse. It walks through the crucial 4 steps that you'll need to take to have a profitable digital products business and make money online selling these types of products. So if you feel like you could use some direction, some guidance, some know-how in this field, then definitely click the link I've got in the description box below to hop over and watch that masterclass when you get done with this video. So when you're about to start creating these pages inside of Canva, you'll need to do a little bit of research first to figure out, number 1, how many pages you want to include in your book, and number 2, the size of the book itself. I'd recommend looking at what other sellers are doing that are in a similar niche to what you're thinking of. You can see both the size of the book and the number of pages when you look at the Amazon listing. The 2 most common sizes I see specifically for these types of activity books is a 6 by 9 inch or an 8.5 by 11 inch. Either way, you'll go ahead and click to create your project in Canva, input the size you want, and it'll bring you into the editor. So for our book today, I'm going to be using a specific app to help me create these types of activities. So I'm going to go to the Canva apps section and search for the one titled Activities Maker. And once you're in the Activities Maker app, you can see it'll let you create a word search, a crossword puzzle, or a maze. So starting with the word search, to create your word list, you can either enter your words manually or upload a file. So if you had created a spreadsheet or something, you could upload that here. But for now, I'm just going to stick with entering this manually. Canva does give you some word list presets. So if you're interested in animals, countries, food, colors, they've got several different ones here. But this box right here underneath is where you're going to actually input your words. So I'm going to come back over to ChatGPT where I had generated my different ideas for my animals commonly found at a zoo. And I'm just going to take these first 10, highlight those to copy, and come back over and paste them into this words list box. So there I've got my different animals listed here. And then I can click this toggle to either generate multiple puzzles if I want to do multiple ones at once, or I can just leave that off to generate one. And I've got more settings here as far as the grid lines, the highlight color, the number of rows and columns. I can make this exactly what I want. And then I'm going to click generate, and that's going to automatically add my word search to my project here. So you can see if we separate these files out, it's given me my list of words, it's given me the actual word search itself, and an image showing the answers and where those words are found. This is really useful because I'll definitely want to include an answer key in the back of my book, but I'm going to put this on a separate page because obviously I don't want the answers showing on the main page here. So I'm going to click to duplicate this page, delete these elements off of the second page, and I'm going to come back to this one later and use this as my answer key page. But for my main page here, I'm going to delete the answer key, and then I can click to expand the size of this to take up most of the page, bring my words down to the bottom, and I'm going to continue continue formatting this, changing the size. I can change things like the font, the spacing. I'll go ahead and just take these last 5 off and get this to look exactly like what I want it to. Now in my research, I did notice that several of these types of books were formatted a specific way with a border around the edge of the page. So if I wanted to add something like that, I could easily come over to where it says elements on the left-hand side, search for border under the graphics section, and choose a border I'd like. I'm just going to choose this one and then resize this to fit exactly where I want on the page. And there I've got my word search page created. So now if I wanted to create multiple word searches, I could simply click to duplicate this page, which gives me a whole nother copy of it. I'm going to go ahead and remove these elements of the word search. So all I'm left with is the border. And I'm going to come back to my Activities Maker app and do the whole process again as many times as I like, changing out the words for different ones. I can also generate crossword puzzles with this Activities Maker app. It's a similar process. I'm just going to click over to crossword, hop back over to ChatGPT. This was my fruits and vegetables list. I'm going to go ahead and copy these. And here under the words and clues list, I'm going to paste these, and next to each one, I'm going to give a clue. So I'm going to do a semicolon and then write out a clue to help whoever's solving this puzzle figure out what the word is. Now, this is another thing I can use ChatGPT for. I could go back to my list and say something like, give me a clue that goes along with each of these fruits and vegetables to create a crossword puzzle with. So now it's giving me each of the fruits and vegetables that it gave me before with a little clue next to it. So I can then go ahead and copy each of these, working back and forth, pasting them into this box next to the word that it goes with, and finishing out my list that way. And I'm going to click generate, and here it's given me my list of words that are going across and the actual crossword puzzle itself along with the answer key. So again, we're going to move the answer key to another page for later and start resizing and formatting this how we'd like. Now clicking over to the maze tab, we can generate mazes also to go in our activity book. We can choose to generate multiple puzzles or just one and click down to the maze settings, which allows us to choose the number of rows and columns, the answer key path color, and several other different things. We're going to click generate, and here it's given us our maze and the answer key. So same process as before. We're going to go ahead and just resize and format this how we'd like. Now another thing you might want to think about when you're creating these pages is using some fun little graphics. You can find a lot of great graphics to use. Again, on the left-hand side under the Elements tab, you can search for anything you want. So maybe I want to put a cute little flower on there. I can search for flower, click over to graphics, and choose one that I'd like. One thing to keep in mind is that if you are going to be offering this in a black and white print instead of color, which I'd recommend because it keeps your printing cost lower, then you definitely want to think about the elements that you're adding and how they will look in black and white. Now, of course, when you get done at creating all of your main pages, you'll want to come back to your answer key pages and use these answer keys to create pages for the back of your book that show the solutions. Now, we've only made it 3 types of activity so far for our activity book, but there's so many different kinds you can continue to make. Some other ideas include finding the odd one out, unscramble the word, match the pictures from right to left, would you rather, and logic and math puzzles. You can create all of these using a combination of ChatGPT and Canva totally for free. And when you're finished, you've got your book pages all designed and ready to go. You're going to click to download this from Canva as a PDF document. Once you've got your file downloaded, it's time to move on to step number 4, which is to create your book cover in Canva. So it's not just about creating the interior pages of your book, but we've also got to create a file that serves as the exterior cover of your book. So to start, you're going to use KDP's print cover calculator and templates. This is where you're going to input information about your book. So we're going to choose the binding type. We want paperback. Interior style, I'm going to stick with black and white. Paper type, I'm going to choose white paper. Reading direction, left to right. Measurement units, interior trim size, and the page count, which is the number of pages we want in our book. Then I'm going to click calculate dimensions, and this is going to give me an option to download a template, which I'm going to click here. That's going to give me the exact dimensions I need to create in Canva. So coming back over to Canva, I'm going to create a new design in the same size that I created my book pages. So for this, I did a 6x9 inch. I'm going to create this new design again in the same size, which gives me my project here. But before I even start designing my cover, I want to get some inspiration. So I'm going to come back over to Canva's homepage, and on the left, click on templates to go to the template section. And at the top, I'm going to type in kid book cover and just scroll through these to get some inspiration and ideas for what I might want my book cover to look like. And once I have an idea, I'm going to come back over to my blank project and start designing by using the elements and the text tab on the left. So again, when I come to elements, I can search for things I want. So maybe I want to do something similar like I saw before, an airplane book. I'm going to click here to filter this to show me only free elements to make sure that I'm using graphics that are free on Canva and can be used for commercial purposes. So maybe I want something like this. I'll go ahead and click to add that and continue designing, adding the different elements that I like along the way. Once I've got all my elements and text on my page, I'm going to click to drag and select all of them and choose where it says group to group these all together as one element. Next, I'm going to come up and click on the resize button at the top and choose custom size. I'm going to input the dimensions now that were the overall dimensions that were listed on my template that I downloaded for my book cover from KDP. So on my template, it's listing my overall dimensions here. I can go ahead and input those here. Make sure my unit that's selected is correct. Right now I have it on inches, which is the right one. And then I'm going to click copy and resize and open the new project. So here's my design in the new size here. This is going to serve as the cover for my book. So the next thing I need to do is actually upload that cover template into Canva. I can do that by coming to uploads, click upload files, go to my download section and find the template and click upload. Then I'm going to click to add it to my page. I'm going to stretch it out so it's all the way across the entire canvas. And then I'm going to come up to the top where it says transparency and bring the transparency of that template down so I can start to see through to my cover design in the background. I still want the template to be a little bit visible so I can tell where to move my elements to. Now I'm going to move this down and click to bring my cover elements all the way to just the right side because the right side of this template is where my cover is going to go. I might need to resize this a little bit to make sure that it's fitting correctly inside where the lines of the template are. And if I need to, I can always click on the template and bring the transparency all the way down just to make sure that everything looks right. So I've got my whole cover design on the right side. I can now delete this template. And if I want to add anything to the back, I can add text or images to this left side that'll serve as the back cover of the book. And when it's completed, I'm going to come up to share and download this as a PDF. So you've got your actual book and the cover created, and it's time to move on to the next step, which is to upload your files into KDP. You can sign up to KDP totally for free. You can come to kdp.amazon.com and click join KDP. And once you have your account created, you can then come to where it says create to start creating your book. You'll choose what type of book you want. For this, I'm going to click create paperback, and you'll go through all of the different details, inputting things like the book title and subtitle, your author name, the description of the book, your publishing rights. I'm going to click I own the copyright because I did create this myself, and continue working through just filling out these different fields. Now, when you get to the keywords section, you're going to want to enter the keywords that accurately describe the type of book you're selling, because this is how Amazon is going to know if your book is the right match for someone who's shopping on the platform. You can do a little bit of research ahead of this to look at other best-selling listings within your niche and see what keywords they're using in their title and description. Once I've got all of these fields filled out, I'm going to click save and continue. And then I'm going to answer these questions about the paperback content. I can leave this on get a free KDP ISBN number, and then come down to print options. I'm going to leave it on black and white interior. I want the trim size to be 6 by 9 inches and choose my bleed settings and paperback cover finish. And next is where I'm going to upload my manuscript. So your manuscript is the PDF file that contains your interior pages. You downloaded that from Canva first, so that's the one you're going to click here and upload. And next is your book cover section. You can choose to use KDP's cover creator, or you can select here to upload a cover you already have. That's what we're going to select this time since we already created one on Canva. And I'm going to click here to upload my cover file. Then I'm going to select if I used AI to generate any of my content. Since we did use some AI tools, including ChatGPT, I'm going to select yes and continue filling out these sections. And then you'll move on to the final step, which is to fill out this third page about territories, your primary marketplace. And this is where you can set your list price. So next to Amazon.com, I'm going to say I want to sell this for $7.99. And once I input my price, it'll automatically calculate how much that price would be for the different Amazon platforms. It'll give me information on my royalties, and then I'll come down and click publish. And that's all you need to do to get started with this easy side hustle. Don't forget to click the link in the description box below to hop over and watch my free 45-minute long digital product powerhouse masterclass. It's going to point you in the right direction to get started selling digital products so you can start earning money from home today. Bye, friend.